How much have you made month to date so far this month?
I think we're around $17,000 in commission for this month. Past 30 days, it's been about 20K.
What got you into TikTok Shop?
My brother actually told me about it. We were making a little bit of content together. He talked to me about TikTok Shop, and I was like, okay, well, this seems interesting. Long story short, started getting into it many months later.
I don't care if people are going to judge me for my videos. I don't care if people are going to judge me for my lives. Like, I'm trying to make my life better. So it's
100%.
definitely.
They're not paying the bills.
Welcome into another Live Squad / Trendwise podcast. We have Chris here. Chris has been in Live Academy for I think several months now, since the beginning, and he's having some massive success. So we definitely wanted to have him on, have him share some insights and kind of his journey over the last several months. So without further ado, Chris, appreciate you joining us, man.
Thank you so much, man. Happy to be here.
Right on. So I guess to get started, what got you into TikTok Shop? Obviously, TikTok Shop is a pretty new thing. So how did you find out about it? How did you get started?
So I can't remember exactly like time frame exact, but it had to have been around the new year is when I first started hearing about it. Just like most people, they saw a few videos on YouTube. My brother actually told me about it. We were making a little bit of content together, and that wasn't going too well, but it was a lot of fun. We started, making some content together, and he talked to me about TikTok Shop, and I was like, okay, well, this seems interesting. And, long story short, started getting into it many months later, but that's how I first originally heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the same for me. I saw because I wasn't really on TikTok. I mean, I had downloaded it once and had maybe scrolled for a few hours, and I was like, "This is too addicting. Delete the app." Uh, and
Too
then I
much
was,
dancing.
yeah, yeah, and then I was scrolling, or just on YouTube, right, just browsing or whatever, and I came across some videos about just like the success that people were having on TikTok Shop, and I was like, "All right, this is pretty interesting." And so and I've talked to a few other people too. Like YouTube was kind of the segue or the transition, but that's cool. So you've been doing it probably since like March or April then?
Yeah, so I think the first time I went live was somewhere in March. And I just tried it out. I remember the first product I went live with was the savings books. Those were really hot for a long time. I think they're still doing decent, honestly. They're pretty easy to sell. But yeah, the 100 envelope savings challenge books is what I first went live with. And then a little bit of that Guru Nanda. So that was about around March ish, like towards the end of March. But then I didn't really, I mean, I liked it and I found some success, but I was like, man, this is a grind. Like, I see all these
Yeah.
people making money off of videos, so why don't we just give some videos a try, And unfortunately, I did videos for about a month and mine just sucked. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, like compared to what I know now, they weren't very good. They weren't converting well. I'm still trying to get more used to the camera. And just like kind of like recording yourself through the phone could be kind of hard I think a lot of people struggle with that, but me especially, I'm just kind of like, I feel weird. I don't feel like very authentic when I'm looking at the camera, in videos. I've gotten a lot better at it, but, yeah, at the beginning, it wasn't very easy. So I tried that for about a month. And then I was going live here or there during that time, and they actually took my money from me because my accounts went bye bye, just like a
Oh,
lot of other accounts. So I got two accounts taken away from me, and I was just like, it was just like a punch in the gut. You know what I mean? So um, that was super unfortunate. But and then we started trying to think of when we started kind of taking it a little bit serious. I think that was around like end of uh end of May, I believe. Something like that is when we started like taking it serious because I bought another account. And like I barely had any money. I barely had anything. And I was like, you know what? This works. Like other people are making this work. Like if they can do this, I can do this. So it was around that time I think I joined Social Army in general was very end of May, early April. So
okay. So you started kind of doing lives in April. Didn't see a lot of traction with videos. I'm the same way with videos too. Like my videos, especially early on, were terrible. I mean, so bad. But
Yeah.
it was early enough in TikTok where I still made a few sales. I mean, nothing notable, right? Um, but it's like the same thing, right? I just feel awkward talking to my phone, talking to the camera. It just doesn't feel. I don't feel like I'm being like real. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
but anyway, how much from the lives you were doing the Guru Nanda, you're doing the 100 envelope savings challenge? I don't know if you actually got to withdraw any money, but how much did you like make in commissions that first month going live with those products?
It wasn't much. Like I want to say maybe a grand, if that, maybe if that.
Okay.
But like I said, I wasn't being very consistent. I remember I had one live stream where I made like $200 with the savings books, and then I was like, "This is really difficult. Let's try to go make some videos because that's a lot easier, in my opinion. Like
Mhm.
just to record videos and not have to worry about anything else. You know, take a couple of hours. Of course, videos have a very high learning curve as well, and they don't work out for everybody, which is hard. But live is like now money, you know. So I tried that out. It didn't work out for me, and then that's when I was like, okay, well, I need to like make a change and like because I want this to work out. So let's make a change here. So,
For sure. So, struggled with the videos early on, did okay with lives, but you're like, man, this is a lot of work for the amount of money that I'm making. And then you joined Social Army and you said like early May-ish, late April, or was it end of
yeah,
May?
if I remember correctly, it was around May is when I joined Social Army. I can't remember if it was mid May. It was right around the time where my accounts got shut down.
Mm,
Is when there was that huge first ban wave and both of my
yeah.
accounts were hit, and I was like, holy, like I better join this community to see what's going on, see what other people are struggling with. And I think it was around that time is when I joined Social Army, so pretty early on there.
Okay. And then early on, like in your TikTok shop, career, what would you say outside of, not getting the traction with the videos and then lives being a lot of work, what would you say some of your struggles were kind of early on, other than the account bans too?
Yeah, that was a huge one. Struggles early on is just doing it, pushing the record button, doing it every single day. Once you start taking this serious, it can really change your life. And if you don't put the hours in, you're not going to get the reward out of it. So not worrying not worrying about what other people think is a big one. Something I've always struggled with, but I've gotten a lot better over the years with. When you're live streaming, you can't worry about what other people are saying through that screen. Like they don't matter. They really don't. I mean, you're making money. They're not. If they're taking the time to like troll you, and that really does show who they are as a person, and that they have nothing going for them. So, but it's really hard to realize that in the heat of the moment. It's super easy, like when someone's calling you something online, to like want to react right away or just get down about it. So that's probably been a pretty big struggle. Um, yeah, it's just like being I guess confident can be hard when you're trying to get when you're trying something new for the first time. So just doing it, and then that confidence I think with comes over time, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. And I think, some people are lucky in that they just naturally just don't really care as much about what other people think, if they're not worried about, what people are going to think of their videos or what their live or whatever. But then there's a lot of people like us that like we maybe care too much sometimes. And I think getting over that and just kind of not giving a shit, like I don't care if people are going to judge me for my videos. I don't care if people are going to judge me for my lives. Like I'm doing this to, to better, myself and my family and our life and that type of thing, right? Like to put myself in a better financial position. So if they want to hate, let them hate. Like they're ultimately they're just, they're only making their life worse by just projecting negative energy. And I'm trying to make my life better. So it's definitely
100%.
can't.
They're not paying the bills,
Yeah,
They're not.
exactly.
They're giving you more engagement, which can be kind of fun. But they're not they're not doing anything for you. So
For sure. And if you have haters, then you're probably doing something right. Like
exactly.
they are hating on you because they don't, they're not willing to put in the effort and the time and that sort of thing to try and do something like that. So they'd rather, sit in the cheap seats and basically hate. So I totally get that, man. I get that a lot. That was hard for me early on as well, just kind of worrying about what other people think, worrying about people I know seeing my content, seeing my lives, things like that. It's just a weird thing, especially if you don't come from a background of being on social media or doing any of the influencer type of things, even though it doesn't feel like being an influencer. But for somebody that's brand new to it, like us or like we were, like it's kind of a hurdle that we have to get over.
Yeah, exactly. Friends, judgment from friends, family members, especially, especially
For sure.
because they didn't grow up in this generation. I mean, things are booming right now online and they have been for a while, but especially with TikTok Shop, like this is a huge opportunity, but you know, my parents, grandparents especially, they just don't get it. Especially if they come from a background of like having a college education. I was always told like you need to go to school, you need to go to college, you need to do this. So this has been a really nice motivation for me because I never did any of that and I'm finding success and I'm actually making a lot more money than some of them right now. So it just kind of wants to, no, I'm just kidding. I love my family, but it's it's a good feeling when you can put your head down and grind, and you really don't need that diploma to show people that you can actually make money and that you are actually worth something. But you do need a lot of studying still. So I mean, I agree with the education system. I think that it's great to always learn something, and that's very important. And even with TikTok Shop, we're always learning. So, um, but yeah, it's been a good feeling to find some success. That's for sure.
Yeah, and to be able to carve your own path when people around you were telling you to go a different direction, and you decided, nope, I'm going to do what I want to do, even though it may not be the quote unquote traditional path that a lot of people take, and historically what has been the popular route to take. But I think times are changing, and not to say that there's not value, like you said, in doing that. There certainly is, but everybody's different, and I think ultimately, like at the end of the day, like we're in charge of our own happiness. So we got to do what we want to do. We can't just do what other people tell us to do because we're never going to be happy that way. So without getting too philosophical, right? I think that's cool that you've been able to do it. You stuck with it, and I agree with what you're saying too in terms of like the knowledge and the learning. Like the people that are seeing the most success are the people that are spending the time and putting in the effort to better themselves, perfect their craft, learn as much as they can learn about it, and figure out where they can get advantages from, right? Like what's going to give me an advantage? Like is it just doing this a little bit better, doing that a little bit better, what's working well for other people, and all that type of thing. So that's super cool, man, and I'm glad to see that you're having the success that you're having, because I know early on, I guess we can kind of fast forward a little bit in your story, but I know like early on it wasn't easy for you. Like it was a struggle. You were putting in a ton of hours, you weren't seeing the best results, and all that type of thing. So I guess fast forwarding to you joined Social Army, we'll just call it May timeframe. Were you still doing lives then, or just kind of focusing on videos? What was kind of like the path from there?
So I think late May is when I started taking live streaming a little bit more serious. I was starting to make videos. I was continuing to make videos throughout the month, and they just were not picking up. And still feeling super awkward with the camera, things like that. Really hard to bring that authenticity for me through the videos. Like I said, we're getting better at it, but we started taking live streaming seriously towards the end of May, and started seeing some results. I wasn't in Live Academy yet. When did Live Academy start? Do you remember the day?
June 12th. Yeah.
June 12th. So yeah,
Mhm.
so it was very soon. I started Live Academy pretty soon. But I remember I saw a spin scrubber going crazy. I think that was late May, early June, if I remember correctly. And I was like, we're gonna give this thing a try. It's free shipping. It looks like it's a really good sale. It's super cheap right now. It was like, I don't know what, uh, $15 at the time. When I first started going live with it, it was a Voweek spin scrubber, and we did that, and we started seeing success in that right away. Um, we did that for about a whole month, and we did good. I made like around $8,000 in commission from the Voweek spin scrubber. But I was grinding every single day. And I was doing things differently. Like I was using it as a microphone to talk into it to people. I had the shower going. I was scrubbing myself with it in the shower. I did something totally different than all these other people were doing because I was like, I need to find success, and I can't do the exact same thing as everyone else. I need to be different because I need to ensure that I make some money here because let's just try it out. And it worked well. And like I said, at that time you could buy like two, three, four of them if you wanted to, and still get the same deal. And then they kept raising the price up after that. But yeah, so it I didn't find success right away, but with that, I think I got pretty lucky with the Voweek scrubber there
Yeah.
during that time.
I remember you doing that product, and then I remember it kind of starting to slow down for you. I think with the pricing going up and that type of thing, and then obviously just with the popularity of the product and so many people doing it and so many people buying it, TikTok is a blue ocean, but at a certain point, a product starts to slow down a little bit just because the majority of the people that are going to buy it have bought it, and then you're kind of just scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm going to say the bottom of the barrel, but the audience, the buyers that are out there for that product just become less and less over time, and then as the price goes up,
100%.
harder to convert the product. So, did you join Live Academy when we launched, or was it a little bit after that?
So I think it was after that, if I remember correctly. I think it was when the Voic was starting to slow down for me, and I was like, okay, I literally don't know. I don't know what to do, and when you don't know what to do, you need to look for I'm like, okay, I need to look for information. What are other people doing, And that's when I believe I joined Live Academy, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but I think it was after that Voweek was starting to slow down, and my commissions weren't coming in yet. So I barely had any money to my name at this point. So yes, I had 7, 8 grand waiting there, but I was also scared every single day that that was going to go away because I had two accounts banned previously, and I put so much time and effort into this thing. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and give this Live Academy thing a try. And I remember talking to Bryce about it, and he was like, "Yeah, man, it's gonna be 100% worth it." And I was like, "Okay, man. Well, $300, I barely have any money left, so." But I was like, "So when can I get this thing for free?" We were talking about the live GMV thing or whatever, and at that point, when you start making so much money, it won't even matter, is what he was saying. I was like, "Okay, man." And here I am. I already made 8 grand, but I didn't physically have the money yet. So kind of but gave it a try around that time. So I wanted to say end of June is when I started asking you guys for help. So we joined the Live Academy during that time, I believe.
Okay. So kind of got in there not too long after we, launched Live Academy. And we're just waiting for that money to come in, hoping and praying like nothing happens in between now and when I can actually withdraw these funds.
Right.
Were you working at the time as well, or were you just kind of solely focused on TikTok?
So I did I did a lot of DoorDash driving. I would do Uber Eats, DoorDash, things like that. So I did that for about a whole year, two before this. But then I started putting all my time and effort into this because I did see the potential in it. So that's what I was doing for the a couple years before that. And before that, I was at tech. I worked mental health for a while, but I didn't. I just don't like working for. I guess companies, but then you're always working for somebody, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But I did see the potential in this, so I did stop doing the whole delivery driving for a while to put more effort into this. But I was doing it side by side for the most part. Like I would go drive it for a few hours, get some for sure money, for the day, and then I would do some streaming as well. So I was doing it on top of the uh, the food delivery.
Okay. Right on. And then are you still doing the food delivery, or have you since stopped doing that?
No, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm putting my whole focus into live streaming and trying to make videos at the same time, but it's really hard to separate my time right now. So we're trying to come up with a schedule that works a little bit better. But yeah, so we did the Vo week, and then like I said, when I joined Live Academy, talking to you and Drew really changed the game for me, honestly. Quick story. When you used to do the collagen back in the day when you were finding success, I mean, there's Callo data, right? Everyone like was looking up Callo data, and those of you that don't know, it's where you can look up stats of other people's like lives and see how much money they were making. It's super like inflated. I guess it's not 100% like real on the data, but I was seeing the kind of money that you were making, and I was like, holy, like that is insane. Like when you had your really big month, I believe, was during that time. And I was like, okay, well, I was doing some of the collagen too. I actually copied Chris's script right here. And before he became the coach, I didn't know he was going to be the coach for Social Army. And I was copying this guy's script. And he came into my live stream. And I remember what you said. You were like, nice script. And then you started like, did the little laughing emoji. And I was like, holy, like my heart kind of sank for just a second. And then I was like, you know what? Just keep going. Like, if he can do it, you can do it. So, I mean, and I remember telling you, I was like, thank you so much. Like, because your account's trend wise, I was like, thank you so much for like paving the way and, showing me. And the cool thing about it was that you actually became the coach in Social Army. So I was like, I actually get to talk to this guy and meet this guy because this was someone else that like had the success, that I wanted. So, yeah, I mean, super amazing, but pretty funny.
Yeah.
I
I
was like, man,
remember.
I just totally ripped this guy's script.
I, yeah, I didn't really care that much. I remember at the time, like everybody was ripping my script,
I
so
bet. Yeah.
I would go on people's lives, and people would copy my my account name and all that stuff too, and do collagen. So it was just kind of funny to watch. Um, and like I had been pretty like quiet in Social Army about like I would post wins and stuff, and people would always be asking me like, "Oh, what product are you doing? What's your account?" Blah blah. And I was just kind of like, like
Yeah.
I got enough people trying to copy me right now. But it ultimately like it didn't really affect my numbers. So that
Right.
was kind of eye opening for me to see. And it's like, hey, like we don't have to gatekeep information. Like it's not going to hinder our own success, and it's just going to help other people out. So maybe collagen doesn't work for them, but maybe they can find some other nuggets in there that will help them. So anyways, that's pretty funny. I do remember that actually. I remember coming into your live. There's actually a few of you guys that did it, and I came into your lives, and like everyone, all of you are in Live Academy, so it's kind of funny to see
That is
that.
funny.
So
Yes. So that
go ahead.
happened, right? I wanted to just like touch on that because I was like, wait, I
Yeah.
remember that. I got to tell the people that. Um, but yeah, so that happened, and then going back to what we were talking about before, the scrubber, all that, and then I was asking you guys, like, what do you think I should do? Because, like, when something doesn't work out for you, you need to find that information and try something new. And, like, I was scared now about not getting the money. And then you suggested that I try to go live with the car play. And there's scripts for those of you guys that don't know in the Live Academy. And it really is tailored towards every single product. And it's very user friendly and like noob friendly, like someone that's new to live streaming in general, and it really does help you not have to do all of that, I guess, all of that time that it takes to actually build your own script, and it is based off of selling. Like you'll notice in most of the scripts that it'll constantly talk about the sale at least two or three times during the script, which is very important for like that fear of missing out, to get those sales, showing people how to get the sales, things like that. So it's very like intellectually designed to actually work. So I remember talking to you and Drew about like what should I do? You suggested the car place, so I went with it. But like I started seeing other people find success with it. They were asking me how the device worked during that time. And like if you guys remember Frost, he was the first one on the podcast. And Frost has a massive personality. Love the guy's personality. He is a great personality. And he actually would come ask me some questions about the CarPlay, which I'm always open to helping people out. But he started getting like a bunch more viewers during the time. And I'm like, dang, like this guy, this guy, like I don't know how he's making more money. Maybe he's selling it better. I don't know. But I was like, man, I was getting like not frustrated at his success, but frustrated that I was having low views because I was converting really well. When it came to the amount of viewers I got, but TikTok was not giving me the views for CarPlay. And I remember I had to move that month as well. By the end of that month, and I actually had another product come in, which was one of the other litter boxes. It wasn't the one I'm doing now, but I was planning on switching over to that, but I couldn't because I had just went through a huge breakup. So I had all this stuff going on, like while I was in the heat of TikTok shop. You know what I mean? So I was getting frustrated. I mean, I was complaining so much in that chat. I was like, man, like this sucks. I'm not getting the views. My conversions are up, blah, 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 blah. But I still made 8K that month as well, when I switched over to the CarPlay. So I still found success, but you want more and more and more once you start, taking off. But yeah, the script really did help me out start with that CarPlay. So it helped me get used to the product, and it does work. They do work, especially when you don't sound like you're reading off of a script. So the first few live streams, you might sound that way, you might sound that way for a week, maybe 2 weeks if you're brand new. But once you start putting your own spin on things and you follow that script and provide that urgency, like you're going to start making sales like right away. It's designed to do that. So
Yeah, absolutely. And like the scripts, like you said, it's like it's a baseline. It's a starting point for people. Like the goal is not to just repeat that same exact script for months on end. The goal is to like learn the script, understand the product, and then make it your own. But it just gives you kind of a structure and a format to where, if you're not really sure what to do, it just gives you a starting point. And kind of it has everything you need in there to start making sales. So
right.
I'm glad that worked out well for you. And then obviously since then, like I remember too, you were just like in the chat, you were just so frustrated with the lack of traffic that you were getting because you were like converting really well, but you just weren't getting the traffic. And it was just like a daily thing where you're just like pissed off about the lack of traffic. Like,
Dude,
oh,
I was.
there's Chris complaining
I
about
was.
traffic again.
Yeah, I was like, dude, these TikTok people, like, I'm making them money and they're not giving me any people.
Yeah, I know. It's brutal, man, but I have to give you props too because you battled through it. Like a lot of people probably would have just given up and quit and been like, lives aren't for me, like whatever. I've worked so hard and I'm not getting very much traffic. Granted, you were still making good money, but I know you were grinding pretty hard.
Yeah.
But all that like perseverance has ultimately paid off for you big time. And I guess we can kind of like fast forward a little bit in your your story there because just I guess tell us this last month or excuse me for the month of September, which today is September 25th, so we still have 5-6 days left in the month. How much have you made month to date so far this month from your TikTok shop lives?
For September, I think we're around $17,000 in commission. For this month, past 30 days, it's been about 20K. So the goal is to hit, 20K by the end of the month. So hopefully they fix some of those coupon codes. But yeah, we're gonna grind it out. We're gonna do it. So
Oh, I believe it. You've been crushing some pretty massive days. I know just looking in the wins. I know you took I think today off, but like the past few days, I don't know 3-4 days, whatever. You're doing 1,000 plus every single day in commission. So I mean a couple strong days and you're going to be there no problem. And then it's we're this is also too keep in mind for everybody else out there. Like we're towards the end of September here now, but August historically is like the slowest month. And I know you had a pretty impressive August as well. And then September is still pretty slow. It's just now going to start picking up going into the Q4. Really going to heat up, going into Black Friday. That's kind of the peak of things. But you've managed to see some pretty good results even while during the slow season. So that's awesome. How much did you make in August during the slowest month of the year?
So August, that was during the time when I moved, so I had to
Mm,
take a couple of weeks off while I was moving, unfortunately.
I remember that.
And I was waiting for the new product to come in. My AC actually went out in my car, so I couldn't even do CarPlay like really if I wanted to. I mean, that would be a different type of grind. It's hot, that it's hot. And I was like, I ain't doing that. I remember I did a few days of CarPlay like that, and I was like, nah, I got to move anyways. It doesn't make sense. So. I managed to make like around 6K for only working a couple of weeks when I got the new product in. And the new product that I'm doing now is the litter box for those of you guys that want to know. I don't mind sharing it. There's a lot of people in Live Academy that are doing it right now. Um, and My first week of doing that, I was super frustrated because I was putting in like 2, 3 hours a day, and I only made like $700 my first week of the litter box. So by no means did I find success with that product right away. By no means do I ever find success with my products right away. It takes some time. Definitely takes at least a week or two usually for me to pick up steam with the new product.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's also like why you've been able to see results, right? It's because you don't give up after 1 week of, I mean, some people would be super happy with $700 in a week. And then for other people, they're like, oh, this isn't worth it, but you've kind of, stuck with it. And, now you're doing $1,000 plus days, which is pretty much everyone's goal. Everyone wants to hit $1,000 plus day. I mean, that's like, we see these stats posted in the wins, and everyone's like, "Oh man, I can't wait to have $1,000 day." So, and you've been able to do that, so that's super cool. But you wouldn't have, that would have never happened if you just gave up when things were hard or you weren't seeing the results that you wanted to see. So, I definitely commend you for that. And we do have, for everyone else watching too, with the litter box that he's talking about, we do have a partnership with that company, so everyone in Live Academy gets increased commissions, which is pretty sweet, especially because I know they just lowered their commissions on that. But so I guess obviously like you're just really taking off right now, and it's amazing to see that, and I can't wait to see kind of what you do through Q4. What advice would you give to somebody that maybe is struggling with lives right now? They're like, hey, my videos, I know I suck at videos or my videos aren't the best, like me, and I think lives is going to be my thing. Like, what advice would you give them when they're kind of getting started?
Join Live Academy. You don't need it to be successful. Like I said, I made 7K before I was in Live Academy, but I would not have the success I have right now if I did not join Live Academy. At least maybe not as quick. Maybe I would have had it months and months later, but if you're looking to fast track, I would definitely join a community and get into Live Academy. If you're unable to do that right now, just watch people that are doing insane on the product that you want to do. I'm not saying you have to copy them word for word like I did with Chris, but but definitely like take notes at what other people are doing and put your personality in it, guys. I mean, there's some people that say they don't have a personality. Everyone does. And it's okay to be serious when you're going live. I like to crack jokes and I'm super corny. I like to poke at the trolls. It's just what I do. That's just who I am as a person, but just use who you are and sell the thing authentically and pick a product that is helpful for people. The litter box is something that I truly believe in and is truly helpful for my cats. The thing is freaking awesome. It doesn't stink anymore. I mean, it is true. Um, you're saving money on litter. Like, that is such an awesome product. So, if you pick a product that solves a problem and you naturally like, it's going to be a lot easier for you to sell that thing that is helpful. And I think just like, even when you have low viewers, just looking at it like, okay, well, if this one person buys this thing, like that's like 40, $50 in commission when it's the litter box. You're still making money, right? But like you're also helping that person at the same time. So it's not just all about the money. When you provide people value and they like you as a person, they'll buy from you. So yeah, just keep at it. You just have to keep going. Like those people, you'll see all of the wins in, the wins section in Social Army, the Live Academy, all that, but you don't see how much grit it takes to actually get there. That's the things you don't see from the other person's perspective. And it feels great to be able to post that $8,000 week. Like that's my biggest week going live, and we just hit that. But the people that are the real winners inside that chat are the ones that are going even though they're not finding success. So those people are the real winners because that takes so much grit. So I am really proud of all of those people because I do remember what that feels like.
Yeah, and you just dropped a lot of nuggets there, right? Like watching people that are having success with the product that you want to have, battling through the low views. I can't even remember everything that you just said because there were so many things, right? But doing all of those things, and like you said, the real winners are the people that aren't giving up because you never know like how close you are to reaching that success, right? It could be tomorrow that things just switch for you and you're able to start seeing some really like good numbers, you know, numbers that are going to make a difference for you financially. And then also, what was the other thing that, oh, your personality, right? Like everyone's personality is different. And just because you're not the most outgoing, charismatic person in the world doesn't mean that you don't have a personality, and it doesn't mean that you don't have a good personality. Everyone has a different personality. Some people are more introverted, like myself, and but that doesn't mean that you can't add your own twist to it. Just find that version of you that you know you enjoy when you're live, and that will shine through, and other people will enjoy it as well. It doesn't mean you have to be the most loud and outgoing person. Like those people are great as well, and they do really well. But you don't have to be that. You can be who you are, and let that kind of come through, you know, in everything that you're saying and the way that you're talking with your lives, and people will appreciate that. And then you also said you're helping people out, right? The customers that you're selling products to, you're helping them because you're helping them solve a problem. Every product out there solves some sort of problem. Some people will disagree with that statement, but I think they're wrong because people wouldn't buy products unless they solved the problem. Food solves a problem of hunger. The cat box solves a problem of not needing to scoop, smell, all these things. Every product out there, car charger, solves the problem of your phone dying, right? All these things solve
Right.
problems. So we're helping people solve problems. It's not just about making money. And I think that because you have that mindset, it really helps. It comes through in what you're doing, and people appreciate that, right? People know that you're not just some salesman trying to make a sale. Yes, obviously that is the goal, but we're helping them along the way. It's a win-win situation. You win, you get a commission. They win because they solve a problem, and they feel like they're investing money and they're not spending it. And then with the Live Academy thing, like you said, you don't need Live Academy to be successful. It's
No.
just a great community of people that can help fast track your success, kind of take out a lot of the learning curve that a lot of us deal with when we're kind of just on our own on an island trying to figure things out. For those of you guys that do want to join Live Academy, there is a link down below in the description of this video. So you guys can check that out. If you use code LIVE30, you'll save 30% off the first month if you want to try it out. But I think you dropped a lot of nuggets there, Chris. And I think people are going to find a lot of value in this podcast. And it's been amazing just to see your success and kind of like where you started and kind of the struggles that you dealt with. And, you know, we've seen a lot of people deal with the same struggles that you have just in terms of getting the traffic and all of these things, right? Plus you had the life stuff going on, you know, the breakup and moving and all of these things, and you still were able to persevere through all that. And now you're seeing, you know, the best week. You just had the best week that you've ever had, which is amazing. And I can almost guarantee that you're going to have, you're going to top that in the very near future, whether it be with this product or with another product. So really appreciate you coming on here. Is there any other tips or, you know, nuggets of knowledge that you'd like to share before we end it here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much left, but I do think those of you that are on the fence about joining Live Academy, you should definitely give it a try. If you're going to put 2 to 3 hours a day into live streaming anyways, Q4 is right now. Starting October, things are going to get hot. You are behind right now. If you want to fast track that success, it is 1000% worth it. I mean, my two biggest days I had this weekend were back to back $1,600 days. And if you can get comfortable like I am with a product, you guys are going to kill it. Like, it's not even Q4 yet, and I'm already having a 20K a month. I'm not trying to rub it in right now, but um, like the amount of money that's going to be made these next 3 months, that $300 is going to be nothing to you. So put the work in, don't give up, and just continue going. Like if you see other people doing it and finding success, that means you can do it as well. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think like, you know, you sharing the results definitely is not rubbing it in or bragging. It's like the reason that we do this is we just want to show people what's possible, right? And then going back to what you said earlier, like people always see the wins, but they don't see the work that it takes. And I think Just kind of hearing your story and everyone else that's listening to this and getting to hear your story. It's nice to get that perspective, right? Like, hey, just because you're struggling right now, you're not seeing the numbers that you want, doesn't mean that you won't. Just because you're not seeing the numbers that are being posted in the win section doesn't mean that you won't be the one posting those numbers in the win section, right? You just have to kind of just keep working at it, make adjustments. What can we do better? Do we need to switch products? Like, what can we do to improve? If you're constantly looking to improve, and you're not giving up, you're going to get there. It's just a matter of time. And I think a lot of that's going to happen in these next 3 months with Q4 because it's going to get absolutely insane. For those of you guys that don't know, TikTok is predicting sales on TikTok Shop are going to be 10x what they normally are during Q4, which is absolutely insane. I mean, if you're making 10x what you're making now,
Dude,
that would be crazy.
I'll just go retire. Just kidding.
Yeah, right.
That's
Seriously.
funny.
Seriously. Right on, man. Well, hey, Chris, really appreciate having you on here, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate you and Drew and all of Social Army. You guys have been awesome.
Absolutely.